It is about Manchester United midfielder Kobbie Mainoo, who says, look, they're reporting that he's eyeing a move away from Old Trafford after being frozen out by Ruben Amorim. He's been an unused substitute in Manchester United's opening 2 Premier League games so far. Jason, Mainoo wants out at United. Can you blame him?
I was at Fulham on Sunday and I was quite surprised yet again by what Ruben Amorim said, because he was asked specifically about Kobbie Mainoo and his role within the team, and he said, well, he's up against Bruno Fernandes for a place. And I was quite surprised by that because, well, it's not just Bruno Fernandes who's playing that central midfield. There's Casemiro also, who people at Manchester United have already told me can't really play more than an hour. But Mainoo isn't regarded as a replacement for him, but he's up against Bruno Fernandes. So he's up against the captain, basically to try and get into the team. Amorim's really not sure what to do with him. It's quite clear he doesn't really trust him as a player. He's not quite sure what his best position is. He's tried to play him as a number 10. He's tried to play him further forward. You know, he's tried to play him as an 8. He tried to play him as a 6, and we're just quite not sure where he fits into the Manchester United team. It's remarkable to think, you know, last year he started the final of the European Championships for England, and now he can't even get on the pitch for a hugely underachieving Manchester United side. So no wonder he's considering his future. I wouldn't blame him for considering his future. He clearly hasn't had any reassurances or any discussions with the manager that has reassured him that he has a future at the club. And it would be really sad for Manchester United if they lose him. He's an academy product. They've got a very proud tradition of having academy players come through and be in the matchday squad. It's going back 100 years or whatever that they've managed to do that. And at the moment, he doesn't seem to have much of a future there. I still would be surprised if he goes this window. It would be a top club that would take him, and I think that would be an indictment of Manchester United to let him go. They've got so many other players that want to move on before Monday evening that really Kobbie Mainoo is one they should be trying to hold on to. But I think they really need to give him a little bit more reassurance as to where his future is in the team and what the plan is for him.
Yeah, Charlie, Jason touched on it there. What kind of message do you think it would send if Manchester United were to sanction an exit for Kobbie Mainoo in this window?
It'd be a huge shame. I mean, yeah, we've known for a while that they do need to sell. They can't keep buying players. They need to offload some. But with Mainoo, I think it'd be a real shame. I mean, what was it only 14 months ago we were watching him play in Germany at Euro 2024, and we're really excited by his talent. And I think we appreciated that there'd always be some bumps in the road. One of my colleagues insisted that he'd win the Ballon d'Or, if not this year, then next year. That's looking a long way away, isn't it? He's got a lot of work to do. But yeah, he needs to have a manager who's got belief in him. At the moment, that's obviously not the case. But for Mainoo's sake, and for Man United's sake, I really hope he stays. But equally, there's some business to be done. United have got to get some players out, and obviously, as a homegrown player, would help financially. But I hope he remains at Old Trafford and things change quite quickly for him.
Jason, just very quickly before we go to a break, it's been a record spend so far by Premier League clubs in this transfer window, and we could yet see even more spent in the last few days. Are you expecting a really frantic end, noting that at the end of the season next summer, there's a World Cup, and that's going to be motivation for a lot of players to want to make sure that they've got regular first-team football, and that might mean making a move away from their current club?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there are a lot of players out there who want to play more regularly, so they'll be looking at their futures while also considering whether or not they're taking too much of a risk by changing club. But even more so in some ways, I think there's a lot of desperate clubs out there. And we've seen from the start of the Premier League that 2 or 3 of these clubs, Wolves, West Ham and so on, really need to get some big business done before the window closes. And then beyond that, there's some quite big needs out there as well. Liverpool are still in the market for possibly a centre-half striker, obviously with Isak. Newcastle, Manchester United themselves still considering what to do. So there's lots of big clubs out there. Chelsea, we know, want to trade. So even though the window's been very, very busy so far and a record amount of money spent, which didn't surprise me, by the way, I think we're still going to have a very, very busy week to go.
Yeah. On Manchester United, I wanted to say something in this video as well, because first of all, I keep receiving many questions on Bruno Fernandes going to Saudi, many rumors. We started with Al Hilal, now we continue with Al Ittihad. We spent basically the whole 3 months of the summer transfer window with Bruno and Saudi and Bruno. But, guys, at the moment, there is nothing really advanced into it, nothing really concrete. The appreciation from Saudi for Bruno Fernandes is from 2 years ago, not 1 week, not 1 day, not 1 hour, not 1 year. It's 2 years ago when they started calling for Bruno, meeting his agents. They tried in every way to bring Bruno Fernandes to Saudi. But Bruno is happy at Manchester United. Then, if you ask me, in the future, has Bruno any chance to join Saudi Pro League? I think yes, because they've always been there and they will return to the table, for sure, because they love Bruno Fernandes. His quality, his leadership, so they will return. But at the moment, it's not something close or imminent to happen for Bruno. to join Al Ittihad. So at the moment, Man United keep thinking that at the end Bruno will complete this season at the club, and then we will see. From 2026, what happens is it's too early to say. Then on Manchester United, guys, conversations continue for Senne Lammens. Man United okay on player side, but still working on club-to-club agreement with Antwerp. They want 25 million euros. Man United started at 17 plus 3. Antwerp always say the 20 minimum guaranteed to arrive around 25 package. Let's see if Man United and Antwerp can reach an agreement for Senne Lammens, but there is a conversation ongoing. Is the goalkeeper wanted? And I keep repeating also today that despite all the reports we are having, Andre Onana at the moment is not negotiating with any club. Andre Onana is not in active talks. We had reports on Monaco, but they signed Radecki. We had reports on Inter return, but Inter are not looking for a goalkeeper. We had reports on Saudi clubs, but it was in May. In May, he had some approaches from Saudi, but then June, July, August, very calm around Andre Onana. So at the moment, nothing imminent happening, nothing close to happen, nothing I expect or anticipate to happen very soon for Andre Onana. So the idea of Man United, if they can agree a deal with Antwerp, is bring in Senne Lammens, trust him as goalkeeper for present and future, and then from the future years we see what happens with Andre Onana. Then if something happens for Onana, guys, don't forget that the Turkish market, the Saudi market, close around the 10th of September, so they have more time compared to European clubs to go for Andre Onana. So if something happens, we'll be here to tell you, but at the moment Man United are not signing Lammens because Onana is leaving. Man United want to sign Lammens. If they can get Lammens done, then at that point we see what happens with the other goalkeepers, but it's not something imminent or something guaranteed for Onana or
Kobbie Mainoo wants to leave Manchester United after being squeezed to the margins by Ruben Amorim. The midfielder has not played a minute of the team's 2 games this season and was demoted from first choice to substitute when he returned from injury last December. United would countenance a suitable deal, but there may be a lack of attractive suitors for the 20-year-old player this late in a window that closes on Monday. Mainoo started England's Euro 2024 final defeat by Spain last summer, less than 2 months after he scored for United in their FA Cup final win against Manchester City. But his career has stalled under Amorim, who has said Mainoo is competing for a place with Bruno Fernandes. The captain Kobbie Mainoo wants to leave Manchester United after being squeezed to the margins by Ruben Amorim. The midfielder has not played a minute of the team's 2 games this season and was demoted from first choice to substitute when he returned from injury last December. United would countenance a suitable deal, but there may be a lack of attractive suitors for the 20-year-old player this late in a window that closes on Monday. The head coach has not found a role for Mainoo in his 3-4-3. Amorim believes the academy graduate does not have the attributes to be a first choice in central midfield and has not been sufficiently impressed by the player's performances further forward. Mainoo is not the only United player with an eye on the exit. Alejandro Garnacho is among those to be told they should find a new club, and Chelsea made further contact over the weekend regarding the winger, but the club's valuations are misaligned. United want 50 million while the Club World Cup winners value him at 35 million. A key factor in United's valuation of Garnacho is that Noni Madueke moved to Arsenal from Chelsea for 52 million and Anthony Elanga left Nottingham Forest for Newcastle in a 55 million transfer this summer. Those players' statistics are inferior to Garnacho's, which has been pointed out to Chelsea, who have been in negotiations with the United executive in the past few days. Chelsea could go up to 40 million, including add-ons, in an attempt to get a deal done. Fernandes, who missed a penalty on Sunday in the 1-1 draw at Fulham, could still be the subject of a bid from a Saudi Arabian club. In the spring, Al Hilal offered about 100 million for the Portugal international, but he decided against the transfer. It is understood United and the player have not had further contact from a Saudi club. If Fernandes is sold, this may provide funds for United to revive their interest in Carlos Baleba. Brighton's minimum price for the number 6 is 100 million.